From the new recording lair located deep beneath the Wine and Spirit store in Ephrata, Pennsylvania.
You're listening to the Masonic Lite podcast.
Studio 665 presents Masonic Lite podcast. This show is recorded by Masons, for Masons, and is for entertainment purposes only. And please, no wagering.
This podcast is not endorsed by any Grand Lodge, and the ridiculous ramblings of the hosts are their own. And now, here's your host.
No!
Hey!
I hurt myself.
Oh, I already had an injury on the job.
I was just dancing to that music.
Gosh.
I hurt myself.
Welcome to Masonic Lite podcast.
Woo!
Guess what episode it is?
It's not. Is it 168? Is that the one?
168.
Was there a star?
There's a star next to it because a bird pooped on the whiteboard right there.
We had a little invasion earlier.
And why is this important?
I don't know. You tell me.
Well, I think
When
it
you
has to
first
do
got on
with
food stamps.
Right.
this 100 shows ago, I guess that would be, what, episode 68?
It was actually 167, but it was January the 22nd, 2019.
2019, when you and Josh came on board, and
Yes.
you've been here ever since.
Wow.
5 years ago.
5
Happy
years ago.
anniversary. Happy anniversary.
Oh, wait, is that tonight?
That's
That is
nice,
tonight.
yeah.
Yes.
Happy anniversary. If I had been reminded, I would have brought a cake. Nobody reminded me.
Yeah.
It's their fault, not mine.
Hard to believe it's 5 years. Larry and I were talking about that earlier.
Yeah.
Because we've only been on the air for 6. I said,
Well,
no, we've been on almost 8.
Well, the real shocker is you told me we celebrate the beginning of our 8th year in April.
Yes.
Yeah.
8 years.
Yes.
Jeez. Anyway,
Do we get a pin or something?
nah.
I remember, didn't think you were going to make it through season 2. I mean, you know.
On and off, it's been fun.
Yeah. So anyway, episode 168. Tonight we have some very special guests.
Who do we have with us for
We
these
have
shenanigans?
The two brethren from Bobblehead George.
Bobblehead.
Two of the brethren.
Two of the brethren from Bobblehead George. See if I get this right. Dave Randolph and Eric Gimby.
Look
Close.
at that.
Close. It's David Raymond.
David Raymond.
Oh! Not anymore.
Gosh, not anymore.
We're going to change that for
I
you.
butcher names all the time. So anyway, Bobblehead George. We'll talk a little bit more about what that means and all that they've been doing. But this is going to be a great show. We're looking forward to it. Tonight's episode, as are all of our episodes, are brought to you by George J. Grove & Son for all of your home improvement needs. Hiram Solomon Cigars, the official cigar of the Masonic Lite podcast.
Oh, no, wait.
No. Afterwards.
Got it.
Scott Helm Electric and Intermezzo by Stephanie.
Yum.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
We should have had candy for tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, what did you say? We're all diabetics. Oh,
That's
never
right.
mind.
But most importantly, we want to thank our patrons on Patreon.
Yes, yes, we do.
Who continue to support this podcast.
You said we got some new ones?
We got some new ones. It's great.
We'll talk about that later.
We'll talk about that later.
Okay.
But you too can be a Patreon supporter
Yeah. Very
for
easy.
as little as
$1.
$1 a month.
Yes.
Sound
For
effects.
as little as $1 a month, you can keep these shenanigans going, and we're forever grateful for all of you who support this show. So
You can, of course, donate more
you
if
can
you
donate
like.
more.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
We have numerous.
if you want to be a master
we have,
Mason,
what do we have?
level,
1, 5, and 13.
You 1,
That's the
5, and
numbers, right?
13. That's right.
Yep.
Which, we tried to get 7 in there, but it didn't work.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So it's been a while since we've been in studio.
Yeah, it has been, hasn't it?
Yeah, like the middle of December when we did our Festivus episode.
Yeah.
So, Larry, what have you been up to Masonically?
I have been
since
busy.
then? Yes, you have.
How do you like my voice, by the way?
I hear you. It sounds great
Sounds
tonight,
great?
man.
Good.
How about that?
Anyway, I have been busy. Went to the Grand Lodge banquet with the installation of the Grand Master, Larry A. Durham. Wonderful. There were, 1,900 people at that thing.
Yep.
It was packed. It was just unbelievable.
That was just at the banquet.
That was
I
just
happen
a
to know there were
banquet, yeah.
1,452 people there. Though.
Oh, there we go.
1,450. When my eyes saw, because I'm blurry in the one eye, so I saw 1,800. But that's all
I
right.
believe that. I believe it.
That's still a huge number.
Yep.
And that amount of people in the lobby getting drinks was just unreal.
Yes.
We have pictures of it.
The typical banquet dinner of chicken, cold, and blue.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
So anything else?
Attended lodge.
Yes, you did.
Yes, I did. Was at lodge meeting. And attended executive board meeting for Tall Cedars, of which I am no longer grand tall.
Are you grand short now?
Oh, yeah. I guess we already did the show.
He's
when
grand
I,
shrub now.
You were done.
When I done. Okay. Yeah. So got that out of the way.
Yeah.
Well done, Larry.
But now I was named chairman of the Sidonian degree.
Okay.
Don't ask.
Dare I
What
ask?
body is the Sidonian degree out of?
It is a tall cedar degree. It is a hoop. I've been reading and studying on it today, and it's actually, it reminds me a lot of the Yellow Dog degree. It's really funny.
Cool.
It's really funny. But anyway,
All right, Jack.
so that's it.
Since our last episode, the COVID episode, where 4/5 of the attendance in the room.
No, that was actually the episode before last.
Was that the one
Yeah, that was
before
before,
that?
yeah.
That was the episode
did we do
before
one since
Festivus.
then? I've
Yeah.
forgotten.
Yeah.
They're so much fun.
Yeah.
But since we did the Grand Lodge banquet, and I participated on the committee, which was cool to see it from the inside and understand what was going on. And my job was to track the ticket sales for everybody who was not a VIP, and there were probably 11 or 12 people that were not VIPs. So
Wait a minute.
No, I'm joking.
The other way
I'm
around.
joking.
Yeah.
But it was it came off well. Everybody was there, and
Everyone had a
Got
table
home
and
and-
they had a meal,
yep,
and a good time was had by
we
all.
set them and fed them. Yep, that's what we did.
And if you still owe Jack money, please send it in.
No, Tim, I am here to tell you, there are 4 outstanding checks that I have been told are in the mail now.
4.
Now, I'm just saying.
All right. On our
But
next episode, we'll
all
name
from the
names.
same district. We'll talk about that later.
Oh, we're going to name names next
No, we
episode.
are not.
Next episode.
I'm still waiting for the check.
By our next episode, if they're not in, we're naming names. So you
So-
better get them in.
And then we, as part of that Grand Lodge business, I did go to the special meeting at Old Lodge 43.
How was that?
It was fascinating because I've been in that room before. About 4 or 5 years ago, there was a meeting in that room, and it felt huge. It felt like a Zeppelin hangar, right? But for this particular meeting, there were so many people in that room, it felt really small. And it's interesting how just the number of people in the space can change your perspective on the space.
Yeah.
But it was just a 30-minute thing. It was a formality that the new Grandmaster is expected to make his first public appearance at his home lodge. And that's what he did. He opened a meeting at that lodge, which is walking distance across the street from the hotel. And we had a 30-minute meeting, and it was done and done. Went back to the hotel, changed for dinner.
Awesome.
So, yeah, it was very good.
Okay, Josh, how about you?
I went to the Grand Master's banquet.
Yes, you did.
I did not go to lodge meeting,
I know.
and I did go to work, and I continue to work.
And we love you for
And
it.
we love you for it.
Yeah,
You're a good American.
yeah, you're good.
So, either of our guests, anything Masonically going on in your lives recently?
What have you done recently?
I attended lodge
That
last
counts.
month.
Attaboy.
There we go.
I attended lodge last month.
That
and,
counts.
I believe you did too.
I did.
Awesome.
I did as well.
Hey,
And
there you
what
go.
lodge is that?
Riverside 503 in the great town of Wrightsville, Pennsylvania. Woo! the correct side of the river, I might add.
Oh, there Here it comes.
The sunset side.
The sunset side. That's right. And home of one of our favorite restaurants, John Wright's.
John Wright's. Yeah.
I got reservations to take my wife there for Valentine's Day.
That's a good move. Good move. All right. Well, pretty much the same thing you guys were up to. Went to the Grand Lodge installation. Went to the Grand Lodge banquet. Did not go to the special meeting. I went to the auxiliary room located next door, also known as the Lancaster Cigar Lounge, where, this is an interesting story. I don't think I told this on our last episode. I knew that there were going to be, several hundred people trying to cram into that small room.
Oh, yeah.
And so always looking for an opportunity to gather brethren for a good cigar. All right, Larry. What the heck? Right. We've lost control already. We're in the ditch.
Larry, don't hurt yourself, Larry.
Does anyone know CPR?
Oh, my word.
I showed him your remarks about rights.
That would be Josh. Larry's over here stirring up trouble.
Inside joke. Sorry.
Inside joke. Sorry.
Those of you 7 years from now that don't know anything about this,
right?
That doesn't matter.
So the auxiliary room at the Lancaster Cigar Lounge, they were showing that they did not open until 4 p.m., which was a problem.
What ho?
Because the reception started at 4:30, allegedly. Allegedly. So I called them and said, hey, what would it take to have you guys open about 2 hours early if I could promise you, 30 or 40 Masons walking in here and smoking cigars and buying stuff from you? You could really get us that many people? Yeah, I can almost guarantee it. If I put the word out, they'll show up. Yep. And we did. And that was in addition to those that wanted to come, but who couldn't go upstairs because the elevators at the Marriott were broken. Again, by the way.
Let's hold off because there are a lot of humorous things that we can talk about a little bit later in the show.
That's true.
Because
they're nodding off over here.
There's some priceless stuff here.
Okay.
Really good.
All right, we'll get to that.
Because these guys are doing something too cool to let slide. So we need to.
So did the Grand Lodge thing. We've already had our first meeting of Eureka West Shore Lodge number 302 in Mechanicsburg, where I spent 20 minutes reading Grand Lodge Communications, which we might refer to later. And that's about it. Come here tonight.
I will say that I did yesterday have our lodge stated meeting, and usually we refer to the January meeting as amateur night. Right. Our guys, I'm gonna brag on them. They were spotless.
Yep.
It was great. I was so proud of them. They did a great job. Always love to see a good January meeting. Yep.
Ours also included a visit from our district deputy, who was presenting our lodge with the district of the year, the Lodge of the Year award for District 3. So congratulations to Elmer Beaver, our previous master.
That's great. Congratulations.
So, all right, so we're going to take a quick break, and we are going to come back and talk to our friends from Bobblehead George.
Why choose George J. Grove & Sons for your next home improvement project? At George J. Grove & Sons, we've built our reputation on quality and trust for more than 50 years. From planning to materials to installation, George J. Grove promises a home improvement experience second to none. Whether your goal is reducing energy costs, decreasing maintenance, updating curb appeal, or simply increasing the value of your home, the George J. Grove team will recommend and provide solutions that stand the test of time. Call 717-393-0859 for an estimate or visit us at georgejgrove.com.
And we're back.
What? Who is?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Tonight's guests.
Oh, that's right.
We got to talk to our guests now. are from the.
They're looking at each other like, "Oh my God,
what did we?
what the hell are we doing here?
What were we thinking?"
Yes, it's like that.
You know, we have to get them to teach school tomorrow.
All right. Dave Raymond and Eric Gimby from Bobblehead George.
It was Raymond, right?
It was Raymond.
Yeah, David Raymond. Yes.
Raymond. Got it right the second time. Good.
I thought it was Randolph.
That was what I said the first time.
Oh, he said that.
Whatever happened to Randolph Scott?
Yeah. Gosh. All right. So I became aware of these fine brethren who, by the way, as I mentioned earlier, are members of Riverside Lodge, when they did an episode on the Grand Lodge building.
An episode of what, Tim?
An episode of Bobblehead George.
Let's let them tell us about
I'm
it.
going to. So, Dave or Eric, why don't you tell us a little bit about Bobblehead George?
Dave's looking at Eric. Eric's looking at Dave.
He named it. He's the guy.
I named it. I guess. I guess. But I'm the president of the nonprofit.
Yeah, you're the president.
I'm the president,
El
so I got to do
Presidente.
it. So, what was the question?
Tell us about Bobblehead George.
Hey, I spent 29 years teaching 8th grade kids.
Yep.
These guys will fit
That
right
is
in.
right. So, so what was the question?
Tell us about Bobblehead George.
Bobblehead George is a nonprofit organization that is dedicated to bringing unique and accurate and entertaining educational content to lifelong learners of all ages. That is the mission statement to what
You
it
should
is.
write that down.
That was good.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
is that on a website? Or
Yeah, it's on our website, bobbleheadgeorge.org.
All
To
right.
all of which I swear without any
Equivocation, mental reservation.
That's
Yeah.
it.
So-
So, how did you come up with this idea?
Pandemic, sucked. And the pandemic happened, and Eric and I teach 8th grade history at Northeastern School District in Manchester, Pennsylvania. Actually, Mount Wolf.
Yes.
Yeah, we're Mount Wolf.
That's
yeah,
right.
yeah. The parking lot's the dividing line. The high school, our next door neighbors in
Yeah.
Manchester. We're in Mount Wolf.
Yeah. That's WUFF. Woof.
Wolf.
Woof.
Yeah, well, we normally take kids to Gettysburg. We couldn't do that, and so we were going to go and film just a lame cell phone video of Gettysburg. And my son, who was a senior or a junior at Kutztown University at the time, who's a videography major, was home and said, "Hey, I'll come and shoot it for you." And so he put together something that made us look really, really good, and. Yeah, and then that was fun. So we went and filmed another couple local videos. We did like the Lafayette statue in downtown New York and Cadorus Iron Furnace, and those videos got the attention of York History Center. They invited us into their place to come and film there, and we have a really good working relationship with the York County History. And then big score when those videos got the attention of George Washington's Mount Vernon,
Awesome.
and we were invited to film inside Mount Vernon, and what a awesome experience
Amazing,
that was.
yeah.
Amazing.
And then since George Washington's, we've been lucky enough to film at Andrew Jackson's Hermitage, James Monroe's Highland, James Madison's Montpelier, James Buchanan's Wheatland. Yeah. So
And just other non-presidential stuff. We've been to the National Museum of Civil War Medicine in Frederick, Maryland.
Okay.
A couple other places.
No, we're passing notes.
No, it's just what we talked about at dinner about.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was like so. Yeah, and the videos just kind of caught on, and the Grand Lodge invited us. Okay. And what a unique experience to have access to all those incredible lodge rooms at the Grand Lodge in Philadelphia.
So, had you been to the Grand Lodge before?
I have not.
No, it was our first time. So back in April we toured it, and then we went back in June and we filmed.
Awesome.
I've always thought I would love to be a docent in that place and
Yeah.
just take people on the tours. 'Cause I guess you had a tour with somebody who was not a Mason.
Yeah.
That had to be a completely different experience. Were you seeing stuff he clearly did not understand?
I'm sure that he had a working knowledge of a lot of it. I mean, I guess if you're giving tours of the room, you would have to. I don't know. But no, I did notice a lot of things. But I remember, like, we went back and so after we toured, we had to go and figure out, well, what do we want to, who wants to do
What
what?
do we wanna
Who wants-
shoot, right?
Who wants to do what? And so right off the bat, for anybody who's been to Grand Lodge, I was like, I get the Egyptian room.
Absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely. You all can have every other room.
I don't care what anybody
Yeah,
else does.
yeah.
I get to do the Egyptian
Yep.
room. What a sensory experience
Yep.
that room
I
is.
actually
If you've ever
preferred
been
a
there.
third in the Egyptian room.
Oh yeah. So, but I have a photograph of Eric here filming in was it Corinthian? Wait, no. What's the big one?
That's Corinthian.
Corinthian.
Orion.
And it is just like this surreal thing where he's just standing there and the whole room surrounding him. And, yeah, it's really cool.
So did you get a picture of yourself in the chair
Yes,
of the
I
Worshipful
did.
Master?
Yes, I did.
Isn't that incredible? You feel like Edith Ann, right?
I'm 6 feet tall, and my feet were dangling 3 feet in the air. Yeah.
I've got a picture of Pete somewhere when we did a program down there. That's
I'm in there.
absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
It is. It's
Fantastic
a wonderful
place.
building. We brag on that building all the time.
Yeah.
That video, by the way, was really,
It was really solid.
first class, well done.
Thank you.
Videography was phenomenal. It looked like a PBS public. I mean, seriously, it was extremely well done.
Well, PBS is listening. We would like to participate.
Yeah, I'm PBS. If you're not looking at this,
there
you've
may
got a
be
problem.
two people at PBS that are Masons that might see this.
We may have some listeners who have grandkids who listen or watch PBS.
No, but it's beyond just what they did at Grand Lodge. I mean, you guys have been tons of places, right? I mean, the first thing that I saw was a quickie about the Trail of Tears, the Cherokee Nation, but that was even before this.
That was before this. That was me.
Dry run.
That was a long time ago. But going back to the videography, that's what I think has gotten everybody's attention, and that's my son. I mean, Eric and I and our other, there's a third teacher, Mike, who is a science teacher, which adds a unique element to it. So Eric and I both teach history. Mike teaches science, and he's able to bring a science element to a lot of things and offer a different perspective. And the three of us might be the eye candy, but like literally. I said that with
Every
a straight face.
producer in the world is
you did.
about to
Well
say
done.
this. Okay, they're all going, say it, say it.
That videographer makes you really.
That videographer,
Oh, my God.
my son Alex Raymond. Yeah, he has his now. He's got his own company, Alex Raymond Films, and he is the one who really makes us what we are. And
Let me tell you, he's good. He's very good.
he's very good. Yeah, check out his stuff. I think it's alexraymondfilms.com.
He's Hollywood capable, as far as I'm concerned. For video, my goodness.
Yeah, he. Have you noticed in the video? He's got his FAA drone license, and so like we can go and fly drones everywhere we go. Well, we don't. He does.
Yeah.
And we're filming at the Grand Lodge, and we're like, there's no way we're flying a drone here. And we're getting online and we're looking. There are no drone restrictions in the city limits of Philadelphia.
Oh,
Oh, you probably shouldn't have said
Well, I
that.
was going to say we might want to put that out of the final
So
episode.
there is now, with the exception of
I'm thinking about 5 or 6 guys that are going to get in a lot of trouble right now.
with the exception of the fact that it was like there was Canadian smoke fog that particular day, if you remember that.
Yeah.
past
Oh,
summer.
yeah.
He got incredible drone footage of the city of
Absolutely.
Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Flew around, because the Grand Lodge sits right next to the iconic statue of William Penn on City Hall in Center City, and he got footage of the Masonic Temple. But then he flies around the William Penn statue, like it's just so surreal.
Yeah.
And we did the same thing in Harrisburg at the Capitol building. Lady Commonwealth on top of the statue, on top of the dome in Harrisburg, and it's just phenomenal footage that he got.
Yeah, drone photography has always fascinated me with what you can do with that. So you started out, as you said, during COVID with the whole, where did you come up with the name Bobblehead George?
The name Bobblehead George I came up with probably 2012, 2013, 2014. It was when social media was really in its infancy, maybe, and I was looking. I wanted to create a Facebook page for my 8th grade social studies class, but I didn't want to. I knew enough not to have my own personal face.
Didn't want to
or
have
my own
Dave's
name.
8th grade social studies class.
Not at all. I wanted my name off of it, and I couldn't think of what can I use for a profile picture. And then I had a bobblehead of George Washington. I bought it at George Washington's Mount Vernon years ago, and on my desk, and I took a picture of it, and that became the profile picture. And then it just kind of like, oh, that's Bobblehead George. And so the name has been around for a while, but what we do now is more of a coming out of the pandemic, and I couldn't imagine doing it with anybody other than Eric here and my son.
Aww.
And
What
my
a
friend
guy.
and my friend Mike.
Come on
Hey,
now.
well, That's a great story. I'll let Eric tell. Our relationship.
I was hoping he would talk.
Yeah.
I was sitting here thinking, geez, he was an 8th grade student in your class.
Wait a minute, let him tell this.
And also, you were his mentor when he was student teaching.
Larry.
I'm thinking, is he afraid to talk?
Let him tell this.
That's the story.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Eric. Tell the story. That Larry just
Welcome
told
to
us.
our
Tell the
world.
story better than I did.
Yeah, when I was in
Welcome to
8th
our
grade, I was lucky enough to have Dave as my U.S. history teacher, and we would often argue back then about David Lee Roth and Sammy Hagar.
Which Sammy Hagar is by far the better front man for Van Halen.
I agree.
I don't hold that opinion against him. But yeah, and then when I was in college and decided I wanted to become a teacher, I was lucky enough to get placed with Dave. And then the next year, teacher across the hall was retiring, and he's actually the guy that got us into being a Freemason. He taught for 45 years, Charlie Lenhart, and he ended up getting us into this whole thing.
Good for him.
So
well done, Charlie.
Charlie's a
Good guy.
33rd degree Mason. Taught for 45 years.
Wow. That's incredible.
It's incredible.
It is. Eric, I got a question.
Yes, sir.
How long were you all working together before you quit calling him Mr. Raymond?
Ooh, tough.
Ooh, that's a good one. I don't know.
Probably you were still calling me that when we were student teaching. When you were student teaching, I
I
think.
think it became
Well, that's
Mason.
kind of
I
a
think that
thing
was I think that was
inside the
protocol.
school, though. I mean, you all call each other, teachers all call each other Mr.
Right.
and Mrs.
Not really.
In
Not
the
really.
halls.
Not anymore.
Not
Not since
anymore? Is that not a thing?
1974.
Well, that's changed.
No, in the halls.
Do nurses
No.
still wear that cap
Yeah,
thing?
exactly.
Is that a thing?
So, as a former educator, I had former students who later came back and we've done things with and so on.
They
and
should.
they would always call me Mr. D. And I'm like, you can call me Tim now. No, I have to call you Mr. D. You're always Mr. D. And so that's...
Yeah, I think it was really when we became a Mason. Because that was the same thing with
okay.
Charlie. I would always call him Mr. Lenhart because he was, everybody called him Mr. Lenhart. And then after I became a Mason, he's like, no, we're brothers now. Call me Charlie. So I still call him Mr. Lenhart. But
Okay.
Well, when I was growing up, and this was years ago, I went to my 50th class reunion, high school class reunion, 10 years ago. And some of my teachers were still alive.
Check the math.
And I would still refer to them as Mr. or Mrs. I could not call them by their first name.
Oh yeah, I have a teacher. And I graduated from Bedford High School in '91, and Mr. Hernkane. He's like a rock star on Facebook now. When I retire, I just want to be that rock star teacher on Facebook who says what he wants to say, right? Yep. And but I talked to him recently, and it's still Mr. Hernkane, and he was my teacher. I can't call him anything else.
Our kids are out of elementary school 15 years, 20 years, and the teachers are still
Mr.
Mrs.
and
this
Yep.
and Mr. that.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
And I
that's
think
okay.
that's
I
great.
like that.
I like that.
I
That
think
is.
that-
I think that's good.
Respect well
That
due.
is good. So, during your time of how many videos have you created since that first one during COVID? Ballpark.
Dozens. I mean, when I say maybe not quite 100, but
Okay.
don't turn away from the mic.
But there you go. We usually have to tell Larry that.
Attaboy. Eric.
job,
I'm just
Eric.
following the rules.
in my defense, I had the one microphone that doesn't turn on
That's
a swivel.
true. That is true.
Yeah,
Head on a swivel. Head on a swivel. Come on, coach.
So
dozens, right? Because we're in for. We also, besides going to film other places, we work with a great company called Periodic Presidents.
Okay.
So we make these presidential shorts, and we use their graphics in it. They make infographics for school, and we both love using them. So we're in
Talk about that a little bit.
20s.
nothing made teaching presidents and presidential elections and political parties easier than periodic presidents. It's just basically like a periodic table you see in science class, except it's all government.
Oh, interesting.
And it's just fascinating. We love we fell in love with their stuff at the beginning, and then we're like, well, this is cool. They got good graphics. We can make the videos, and so they're based in where? They're near St. Louis.
Yeah, near St. Louis. Yep.
And we just emailed them and said, do you want to talk about maybe a collaboration we can do where we can use your graphics? You share your graphics with us and give us permission to use them, and we'll make short 3-minute videos on each of the presidents and on the presidential elections. So we've been working with them, and it's been a really cool symbiotic relationship where we just help each other, and it's mutually beneficial to both sides. And it's really cool. Good whenever in class we'll send a kid to their website, go look up this president on Periodic Presence, and then they see our videos there.
Yeah.
So that's really kind of neat.
Yeah.
And then back in November, Eric and I attended the 103rd National Social Studies, what was it? National Council of Social Studies Conference. It was in Nashville this year. And we went, and we got to meet Periodic Presence. So we went and had some dinner with them, had some Nashville hot chicken.
Oh,
and
wow.
yeah, and it was really cool to actually sit down and meet them and talk to them, and actually, they're just really great people.
Well, that's a great niche.
Yeah.
I mean, because you got a fixed audience, and you got a product that you can evolve. That's very awesome.
Yeah, so we work with them. We've published up to I think Chester Arthur, and then we filmed up to McKinley. And then once those videos come out, we'll film some more. If you get a chance to watch those, they're spectacular because
they really are.
My son had a vision for what he wanted it to look like, and we're basically sitting at a table. The background's completely white, and then all the graphics are on the side, and we're just doing our thing. And if you saw the pictures of us filming those, that's my garage. That's a card table with a white sheet behind us. And then he literally, whatever he does with his video magic, makes it look like we're sitting in some professional studio, and it is just phenomenal what he does with it.
Outstanding. We were talking about this at dinner, but as professional as he just described their operation, and he shared with us how they actually stage a lot of their stuff, and they do. We said that's exactly opposite of us.
Yeah, we don't do that shit. No.
Larry, you came in a couple of times in the early episodes with scripts and plans, and what happened to those?
I guess it was our second show. I came in with scripts, and Pete was
30 seconds, Larry.
Yeah. What? Yeah, and Pete was complaining about
5,
that we need to be
4,
more organized.
3.
And I came in with scripts for the second show. Pete looks at it and throws it against the wall. We have never been scripted since.
Now, my son, he actually told us we had to. You remember the video we did at the Cador's Furnace, where I think that my son reached his breaking point with us, because we thought we were just going to be 3 corny 8th grade teachers just hamming it up and just making things up, not making up history, but just going as
spitballing it as you go.
Yeah. And my son, he's with the camera trying to follow. He's like, nope. He says, if you want to do this, well,
good for him.
He's great. Right, because a video, you need that.
Yeah, and the videos
show
that you guys
don't.
have produced so far are impressive enough that it shows that there's something behind it.
The first one where it was real was at Mount Vernon. That's when we realized.
You see this, we can get away with not being organized or scripted.
I remember going to Mount Vernon, and we were there, and there's hundreds of people at Mount Vernon taking their paid tour. And we decided, okay, we can't get in until after 5 o'clock, but when everything closed down, then we have access to the mansion. Said, okay, let's not waste time. Let's film our intro and our outro in front of the mansion. And then we started filming, and all of a sudden, a security guard up on the portico, if you've ever been to Mount Vernon, up on the portico, they overlooked, said, quiet, they're filming. And we're like looking around like, who's filming?
Wow.
And then it's also cool when they give us the passcode to the gates.
Yeah. When you know the passcode to get into James, not to brag or anything, but we have the passcode to James Madison's Montpelier. And that's right.
James Madison 004.
Huh?
004.
Try 1987.
Oh, that too. Okay.
Oh no, I'm sorry. 1787.
Yeah,
1787.
I heard
Here's
1634.
So, come on, Larry. You know what 1787 is?
178.
Larry's birthday?
1787.
Yes, here the Constitutional Convention.
All right.
Okay.
Well, Madison's the father of the Constitution.
You realize they've changed that now.
Yeah. I made all that up. But
the other thing the script really helps with is, like, Dave's knowledge of U.S. history is really outstanding. Mine's pretty solid, I'd like to think. But when that camera turns on, sometimes your brain just absolutely melts and you forget every fact ever.
Yes. if you watch our outtakes at the end of the videos, well, they're priceless, but it's the clueless looks on our face sometimes, right? It's just like
when you lock up.
Yeah. We're filming at the Gardens at Mount Vernon, and I said, "Welcome to the Gardens at Mount Vernon." Then I forgot what I was going to say, and that's perfect. And then he goes, "Is that all you had to say?" And I was like, "No, I just don't remember what I was going to say." It's just crazy, Line.
All right, well, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back with more with our guest, Bobblehead George.
As far back as the mid-1800s, records exist describing the pre-meeting tradition of brethren smoking cigars during and after gatherings. To this day, the practice of smoking cigars remains very much alive in many lodges. This custom is considered a time for brethren to relax, exchange ideas, and enjoy the simplicity and fellowship that is the very essence of our brotherhood. This is what Hiram Solomon Cigars is all about. Our starting principles are to bring Masonic brethren together in the harmony of a good cigar. Pull up a chair, sit back, light up any of our premium cigars, and enjoy the history. Hiram Solomon Cigars can be found at fine cigar retailers. For a complete list, visit HiramandSolomonCigars.com or check them out on social media to find out when they'll be at a live event near you. Hiram Solomon Cigars is pleased to be the official cigar of the Masonic Lite podcast.
And we're back.
Yes, we are.
This is Masonic Lite podcast, and I'm here with our number one host, Larry Merris.
Yo, there he is.
You say they pick on me a lot.
They do pick on you. You have a lot to offer, young man.
Hey, listen, email address, it's on our website. Tell these people, after 8 years, I need more respect.
I think that you should deserve more than the 30 seconds that Jack gives you.
What?
Thank you, Dave.
And what's
You're
our email
welcome.
address, Larry?
I have no idea.
That would be MasonicLightPodcast.com or at gmail.com.
If we were organized and it was scripted, it would be here all the time. But we don't operate like that.
We don't script.
No.
So, Eric, in the middle of the break, I kind of cut you off. You were being asked what's been your favorite episode or favorite site that you've been to?
There's a lot of good ones. I think when we went to Andrew Jackson's Hermitage in Tennessee, that was I think when started to realize kind of how big it was getting. Because I mean, all the amazing places we filmed, it was, we did it in one day. So we'd drive down and then we'd drive back. But I mean, I flew out there, Dave drove out there, but that was kind of, to me, a step up, kind of getting outside of this, the vicinity we were filming in. And too, the city of Nashville was so cool to us. When we arrived at the hotel, they had gift bags for us and everything.
Oh, wow.
So that was like next level for us.
Yeah, there's like, one of the things that we had to do is we had started having reaching out to like different DMOs from different towns. Like, so we, like Nashville, we're coming and doing this, and is there any way you can help us with like maybe discounted hotel or something like that? And so they did. But then when we got to the hotel, there was a gift bag, and I was like, wow, free passes to the Grand Ole Opry.
Oh,
which
wow.
I didn't get to use.
Right.
I did.
Oh, wow.
He did. I didn't get to use. But yeah,
You had to go get on a plane and come back.
No, I had to drive back. My son had to get back.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how was Grand Ole Opry?
Awesome.
I may or may not have a problem with how much I travel to Nashville, Tennessee. So I love it there.
It's one of my favorite cities
it is a
in the
great
United
city.
States.
Really, really.
12 times this past year. So
Really
down
is.
there a lot.
I mean, seriously, I've worked in cities all over this country, and Nashville is one of my favorites.
Yeah,
It truly is.
I love country music, so it was great.
I'm
but
not
then,
a big country music fan, but
That's all right.
even then,
the
it's a
people
great
down there
city.
are just so
Awesome.
nice.
Awesome. So, Dave, how about you? What's been your favorite?
I got to tell you, I think that our experience at, well, first of all, I think our home base is George Washington's Mount Vernon. If you look at our website, you'll see in our video category, we've filmed more at Mount Vernon than anywhere. Mm-hmm. So, you got to default to how wonderful that place is and how hospitable and how kind they have been to us. But I thought it was kind of unique when we went to James Madison's Montpelier. And a lot of people don't know that Montpelier, after the Madisons owned it, was owned by the DuPont family.
Did not
And
know that.
yeah, and they added onto it and they covered it in pink stucco. It was ugly.
Oh.
Yeah, the house was ugly. You go to Montpelier now, it's reverted back to the way it was when James Madison lived there. But there's a lot of the DuPont era structures that are there, and they've turned those into not bed and breakfast, but just like places where people can rent and stay. And they put us up for the night in one of those, and that was really cool. And they gave us access to the grounds. I remember they were like, we filmed it in the house during the day. Then they were like, yeah, you have access to the grounds all night long. And so we went back and filmed the video, and we knew they were watching us because they had cameras everywhere. But it was neat to, be there and just have access to these places, after hours, whenever. You don't really go to a place like this and there's just people everywhere.
Yeah.
But hands down, my favorite video, and I think he's going to agree with this, Rare Books Room at George Washington's Mount Vernon.
Oh.
So when we first went to Mount Vernon on our first tour, the gentleman who's the vice president of media, his name is Matt Briney, who is our contact and is just a wonderful human being, took us to the George Washington, the study of what's it called?
It's a library there, but it's
Yeah,
mainly
it's-
just to study George Washington.
Yeah, it's not a presidential library, but it's where all scholars go to study.
All of his personal papers, his personal library that he had, all the papers of his family, all the books from his family.
Yeah, and there's this area, it's like a little circular room, and he's like, that's the Rare Books Room, but I don't have access. And then this guy comes up and says, yeah, but I do, and he'll open it up. And so we're like,
I know a guy.
Okay. He waved the key in front of the door, and then the door opened up. It's like Star Wars or something like that, and you go in, and it's like, oh my God, this is so cool, right? There's all these things like these medallions, and there's just like maps from the 1780s, and there's just like all these things. And he's like, but there's another room. And then there's a key opens up and the door opens up again and you go inside to it. It's a double secret door, right? So you're going into the double secret door and you go in there and there's, the Acts of Congress and his copies of Don Quixote that he annotated in, that he actually bought in Philadelphia the same day that he signed the Constitution.
Wow.
Because he has the receipts from the book. Because, great story, I guess there was a Spanish ambassador gave him a copy of Don Quixote that he couldn't read because it was in Spanish.
Right.
So when he was in Philly, he walked down to a bookstore and bought an English copy of it, and the date of the purchase is September 17th, 1787, which is the date that
Oh, wow.
So the same day he signed the Constitution, he bought Don Quixote.
Wow.
Which is really kind of cool. So you're in there and we're filming these things.
Uh-huh.
And it's just so fascinating. I never thought, that we'd be in the Rare Books Room at George Washington's Mount Vernon. We're just a bunch of 8th grade, middle school history teachers, and it just was so surreal to us. So then my son, a year later, got hired by Mount Vernon to go down and film them. And he was filming in the Rare Books Room, and here I am standing in Mount Wolf teaching something probably like the XYZ affair. And I get a text from my son that says, look where I am. And he's in the Rare Books Room at George Washington's Mount Vernon.
Neat.
And Dad was never so jealous and proud of his son simultaneously at the same time. Yeah.
That's how it works. Yeah.
Very cool. All right. Jack, you look like you got a question.
I do?
I don't know. I thought you did.
No, I'm just kind of hanging out with you.
Yeah. Very cool. So where is Bobblehead George going in the future?
So this summer we are going up to film at Franklin Pierce's Manse, so that's going to be pretty cool.
Oh, that's the one. Yes. Franklin Pierce.
Concord, New Hampshire. Yeah.
Tell us about Franklin Pierce.
What a sad man.
Yeah.
It's considered to be the most handsome president we've ever had.
Handsome Frank.
Handsome Frank. But he
sad story though.
Sad story. He struggled with alcoholism his entire life, and then after his election and prior to his inauguration, he was on a train ride and with his family, and the train derailed, and his 10-year-old son Benny was, for lack of better words, decapitated. And the only person killed in the accident. And this happened right in front of Pierce's eyes, and so Pierce's presidency is pretty sad. I mean, you have all the tension building up in the country over the issues with slavery, and the Kansas-Nebraska Act happens, and there's the violence that happens out in Kansas, and Pierce was just, for the most part, asleep at the wheel. And but can you blame him? I mean, it's
right.
Yeah. It can.
Right.
I mean, the guy was just struggling. It was just a sad story, And then after his presidency wasn't good because he just kind of fell deeper and deeper into the alcoholism, and that was that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, but anyway, they invited us up, and so I'm looking forward to that. I've really, sometimes it's those presents that are fun, the most fun to, especially as a teacher, to talk to kids about.
Beautiful part of the country.
Speak into your mic, Jack.
Well, where's my mic? It's gone. Yeah. Anyway, beautiful time of the year. It'll be a fantastic trip. The visuals from it will be really outstanding.
Really excited about that.
Shut up, Larry. I'm as old as you.
On a short, that's this summer. I mean, and then we're close to Boston, so I'm sure we'll go and do some things in Boston. And on a
just a few historical things. Right?
Yeah, just a few
Faneuil
things
Hall.
up there. Yeah. But on a near term basis, I know that the York History Center has invited us back. We want to go inside the Gates House in downtown York and the Colonial Courthouse. Talk maybe a little bit about the Conway Cabal or something like that. That's kind of a neat thing, and just to do some local stuff too would be neat.
Jack gave you an idea at dinner tonight. I don't know if it's something you all might be interested in, but in those early U.S. pre-revolutionary times. Trying to identify Freemasonry's involvement. I know one of the committees with the Grand Lodge that I'm involved with is the upcoming celebration of the 250th anniversary of the country, and we're looking for stories about how Freemasons influenced the early colonial governments as well as the newly created U.S. government and state governments around the country. And of course, Boston is just chock full of that stuff.
Yeah, yeah. But you need to go back to the Grand Lodge. And what is that? What's that hall? It's almost like a banquet hall. What is I forget what it's called.
Oh, the one with the big statue. Of Ben Franklin?
You can't miss the big
one North Broad.
One North Broad, yeah.
But it's also got those amazing stained glass windows.
Yes, with all the presidents.
I think it's got Washington and
all the presidents.
Not all of them.
No,
I think there's only
four.
like four.
There's four.
Oh, that's right.
Washington, Jackson, Roosevelt, and of all people, Truman.
Yes.
And I don't understand why not Buchanan. He was a Pennsylvania Mason,
but he wasn't a Grand Master.
Yes, those were all Grand Masters.
Truman was a Grand Master.
Oh, we were wondering that. Yeah, and our guide that it wasn't a Mason.
I was not on that committee. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's why. Okay, Truman.
That makes sense now.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, those windows are pretty spectacular.
Yeah, it's a beautiful room. Grand Lodge space is just fantastic to walk through. I mean, and the video you've done for it is awesome. So next is Franklin Pierce.
Yes, sir.
And I can't, for the life of me. I mean, I know he's like a remote, sad character, but when was the last time Franklin Pierce came up in cocktail conversation?
Never.
Right?
Never.
But we've got our boy Buchanan, and you've done his house, right?
Oh, you want to talk about the guy that's considered to be one of the worst presidents, but yet his home is spectacular. You get a chance to go check out Wheatland, and it's part of Lancaster history,
right?
And it is a beautiful home.
Shockingly nice.
Yeah, and you go in, and it's like his presidential china's on display. Mm-hmm. And a lot of these places you go to, they'll say, "Well,
it's not on display. It's right out there for you to lay your hands on."
Oh, there's a story behind that, though.
What the hell?
So,
are you kidding?
As I'm sitting at the dining room, if you watch that video, I'm in the dining room sitting at the table, and it's all in front of me, right? But I don't know if you can see it on the table, but a lot of it's tied to the tablecloth, with fishing wire, and the lady was telling me, every once in a while you have somebody try to pocket some silverware or something.
Oh, yeah.
So now, if you go into Buchanan's Wheat and try to pocket some silverware, you're taking the entire tablecloth with you, and so that would be embarrassing.
Know that in advance.
That would be embarrassing.
Word of the wise: don't try that.
Yeah, but Buchanan's house, it's fascinating because everything's authentic. Even the blinds, the Venetian blinds are from his era.
Right. And it's not all original, but a lot of it is. It's all period time. Yeah.
No, I'm saying most of it's original. I don't know. More of it than most of the places that we go.
There is a lot. There is a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. The
Hermitage
India
was
desk
like that too. They said.
Yeah.
Hermitage had a really high rate.
Yeah. There is a lot of
Jackson stuff.
Oh, no, it stuck out to me about filming in Jackson's bedroom. This guy had the smallest feet I've ever seen.
Feet.
Jackson.
Yeah, because his slipper's on the floor. It looks like it's a size. I think it's like a size 7.
7.5.
Really?
They said 7.5.
This guy had small feet.
Okay.
One thing that sticks out to me about being in that bedroom is that Andrew Jackson, he's got this larger than life personality, but he really wasn't that
I was going to say he was kind of a short guy, right?
Well, no, he was decently tall.
Tall, but he was
for that time period, especially.
Little tiny baby feet.
He had little baby feet. Yeah. Oh,
He had a big can of whoop ass, though.
That's for sure.
The other artifact I remember from the Hermitage was the pipe that was made out of a stone
From the Alamo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, sitting there in his bedroom, there's a pipe, and it's from a piece of the Alamo.
Really?
And I just thought that was really, really cool.
That is kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, where's a place that
You okay, Larry?
you would love to go to that is not on your radar just yet?
I know if Larry could come with me, I'd go anywhere.
Absolutely.
Larry's been to the
Can we
gummies
give
again.
him to you? We'll donate him to Bobblehead Larry.
Larry, would you like to come be on one of our lessons on the road on
absolutely.
Bobblehead George?
gosh, God help our kids.
You are invited,
God
young
help
man.
our kids.
You are invited, young man. So,
So you remember the question?
where would we like to go?
Where's someplace you've not gone?
Where would you like to go, Mr. Gimby?
Well, we just toured the Capitol, but apparently that's pretty hard to film in. From what we learned.
Yeah.
So if we could do that one day,
National
possibly,
Capitol,
maybe.
you mean?
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
we-
Washington D.C.
Yeah, we were actually in contact with Senator Casey's office, our local representative Scott Perry. Both were actually very generous in helping us, but both are running into the same roadblocks. It's just
It's so secure.
it's
They
so
don't-
secure.
Yeah.
The idea of a film crew coming in and just filming anything is just not a
Definitely not a drone.
definitely not a drone.
They just
That
told
got
us.
ruined a couple of years ago.
They
so.
just told us too the fact that we're a non-profit makes it harder to film in there for some reason.
Oh.
which was
Because we
kind of
solicit
weird.
money from people.
Oh.
Yeah.
Huh.
So because
So
it's
there
weird.
was an Easter egg, because I don't think we've talked about that. You said nonprofit.
We are a non-profit.
Talk about that and how you did that.
Huzzah.
I'm learning a lot about being a nonprofit. Like the whole process was. My wife is like a zillion times smarter than I am, which is the only reason we got it done.
Smart man.
Yeah, my wife is very, very intelligent and very beautiful too. But anyway,
Always marry up.
oh, I got to
Always
tell you
marry
what,
up,
I'm the
that's right.
classic example of the really ugly man who married a very beautiful woman. Yes, but my wife helped me set it up, and the idea was we realized that we weren't going to get rich with Bobblehead George, and we were definitely going broke. Because trips to Nashville and even day trips to Mount Vernon
Cost money.
Cost money.
Piles
And
up,
then
sure.
I got to tell you, every time I drive in D.C., I get a speeding ticket because of those cameras. It drives me crazy. So the trip becomes an extra $200.
There's an easy way to stop that, you know.
Don't
Yeah.
speed, I know.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know.
Get out of the box before the light turns
Yes,
red.
Mom.
So continue with your story
Okay.
because basically it costs money to do the videos and
Yeah.
to make this. So
And we're not charging them.
you're a nonprofit,
Yeah.
and people can donate.
So if
that's why you're a
someone wanted to donate to this organization that's doing these cool things, because I don't think we've talked enough about
Right.
what it is you're producing, right? It's not quite yet a curriculum, right?
No.
But it's close.
It's close. And
It's really close.
Yeah.
And
it's close.
that's going to be something really interesting because you're making it fun.
The way we use it too is more like a supplemental curriculum for what we're doing. So as we go through the presidents now, for not all of them, but a lot of them, we break it up kind of with our own original content. And that was something else that drove it for us, because a lot of these videos you watch on YouTube are terrible.
Yeah.
And,
Right.
or they're inaccurate.
Or the ones on the History Channel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's why I keep saying you guys are so head tall over all of these organizations.
production
that are
quality
sending it.
alone
The production
really is.
quality is phenomenal. You guys are good.
Well, thank you
guys
very much.
are really good.
Thank you so much. It means a lot coming from you.
So
No,
where are
seriously.
you going when you decide to film Lincoln? Since
I
like
think-
8
well,
states claim him.
Well, I think an easy way, but I don't. The other roadblock that we run into is, and I don't want to talk negatively about anything, but it is what it is National Park Service.
Yeah.
They're not as, we find that like the privately run places are significantly more open to us coming. So like the national,
There's just a lot less loopholes you have to jump through. So the National Park Service really limited on how many people you could have, the number of tripods you could have.
Yeah.
You can't fly any drones there, so it's a lot more difficult to for us to go in there and kind of do everything we would like to do to make the product that we kind of envision going into
Yeah.
it.
So continuing on the line, how can people get a hold of you, contribute to you? Your email address? Give us all that good information.
well, you can go to bobbleheadgeorge.org.
Okay.
That is our website. You can find us on all of our social media.
That's kind
Take
of the
a look
launching.
at the
That's kind of the
videos,
launching
folks.
pad,
Take-
right? The
take a
Bobblehead.
Yeah, so go to bobbleheadgeorge.org. It's like the one-stop shop. And you have our two main things. We've got our lessons on the road, which is where we go to different places. Then we have our periodic presence with Bobblehead George. And then on our website, on every page there's a button where you can donate. You can take all major credit cards. Venmo's coming, but we haven't gotten that approval yet. Or do it the old-fashioned way. You go to there's a donate button on there where you can get our address and just write us a check if you're still into writing checks.
And you
What?
Can,
Oh, I know, yeah.
With
you can
ink?
take,
What
you
are
can take
those?
corporate
What?
donations
Postage?
as well.
Yes, we can.
You would like to be sponsored by corporations.
I would love to be sponsored by a corporation, and we'll give them a good old plug too.
Have you done
Yeah,
very
absolutely.
many like lodge presentations?
We have at our own lodge. If you'd like us to come to your lodge here in Ephrata and actually do a lodge presentation, I would love to do that. And then maybe we could shoot a game of pool afterwards.
Okay.
On Smoke a
There you
Cigar.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And for all of our listeners, you can go to bobbleheadgeorge.com and request them come to your lodge.
.org.
.org.
.org. Yeah, our
.org.
email addresses are there.
Yeah.
Hey, can I tell you one more thing that we do that doesn't get nearly enough notoriety?
Absolutely.
The first videos we filmed were not lessons on the road or periodic presence, but they were.
Cooking with Lewis and Clark.
That is right.
Oh.
This is
Oh, I
basic.
love that stuff.
Oh yeah, this
I didn't
is.
see this.
Oh yeah, it's on our website. I mean, it's kind of hidden. Go to there's on the top. There's the more button. There's cooking and Lewis
Oh,
and
I never
Clark.
go to the more button.
Yeah, go to the more button.
Fine.
I like that cooking with Lewis and Clark.
But yes,
Yeah, well, yeah.
we recreate.
So tell us about that.
We recreate recipes that Lewis and Clark made.
That is freaking awesome.
the core Discovery made on their
You
expedition.
could do
So
that with a lot.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
but we have to have full disclaimer here. We are not professional cooks, nor do we use any
Do we
type of.
eat the product we make?
Oh, we do. That's the rule. That's the rule is that we all have to try it. Everything, so we have to try it. And a lot of times it's good.
So tell us about some of the dishes.
Dave's favorite was the
beaver
salmon
stew.
soup.
No. Oh, the smoked salmon soup was horrible because I don't like salmon. And this was like, when it was done, it was like Italian wedding soup, but without the sausage. And instead it was just mealy salmon. And it was just like, that was horrible. Buffalo beans and bacon was good.
Ooh, that does sound good.
Because that's just, buffalo beans and bacon. I like
Anything with bacon.
hominy fritters.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Let's just get some hominy and fry it in
I
some
love
grease.
hominy.
Yeah.
You didn't have anything like possum or beaver or anything like that?
You know what? We were just talking. I was looking it up about making some beaver tail.
Because they had to live off the land as they were.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And so, we haven't filmed one of those for a while because, like I said, as we've done other things, that kind of stuff got put on the back burner. So a lot of those videos are seriously pandemic era. Matter of fact, we had the disclaimer in the front that we're socially distancing because, but remember that. Nobody knew what we were supposed to be doing or what the rules were going to be. And we surely didn't want people to think that we were just,
winging it.
Being frivolous.
being frivolous. So we had the disclaimer in the front of it that this was done before the stay-at-home orders and all that stuff. And so, but yeah, I mean, they're all those are pandemic era videos, and they are not as
Smooth.
smooth. The two that I like the most.
There's no scripts on it.
There's no scripts on these. This completely
Live without a net.
My favorite one though was we did once the stay-at-home orders were kind of like really serious. We did a quarantine version of hardtack. So I sent Eric and Mike the recipe.
Some flour and some water.
I said, here's the recipe. I want you to film yourself making this, be as corny as you want to be. I did the same thing. And then we all sent the footage to my son, and he just spliced it together. And it is 16 minutes of the three of us making hardtack simultaneously, but in our own different homes.
Wow.
In our own different... It's hilarious.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's hilarious. Yeah.
I need to make some hardtack.
Oh, hardtack's good. That's right. Good. If you make it right.
Is it good?
No.
Is it?
Well, if you don't have the nits in the flour, it's better. Less protein, but better flavor.
I threw some away this year that I had in my closet at school because I didn't dry it out properly, and it turned into too much of a science project.
Yeah,
So-
that can happen.
Things grew.
It was not good.
So bobbleheadgeorge.org. And the name of your son's production company?
AlexRaymondFilms.com. Check it out. He does weddings, destination weddings. He does all kinds of things. And as you guys can now attest to, he is an amazing videographer. And if it wasn't for him, I don't think we'd be sitting here with you beautiful people right now.
Well, that's great.
Oh, wow.
And in addition to the website, we're also on the Instagram, Facebook, X, and Dave's favorite, TikTok.
Oh, I run
really?
No,
TikTok.
No.
Really?
No.
We're on the talk.
We're on the talk. I do all
We're
the
on the talk.
We're on the talk.
Get out of our studio.
On the
right
talk. On the
Get
talk.
out.
No cap.
I update our Facebook, our Instagram, our Twitter. I even do threads if anybody, if anybody does that.
I'm there.
Okay. And
We're
then
there. We're
I
there,
do.
actually.
I did
You're
the
not
website.
teaching 8th grade.
But
You're stuck in 8th grade.
But the
That's
one
what you
thing
are.
I refuse to touch is the TikTok. He runs the TikTok.
Oh, now
there
you're
it is.
both tainted.
Yeah. So whenever we have something, when we have a video for TikTok, I send it to him. So upload that to the talk. I don't do it. I don't want it.
Sell
You
it on
didn't mention the
TV.
YouTube.
Oh, YouTube. Yeah, that's where we got started. Yeah. And all of our, the videos that are on our website are embedded from YouTube. So so
Pretty amazing.
yeah, it's been a ride, and like we've got to do things I never thought I'd be able to do.
That is so
It's
cool.
just so cool. Let alone sitting here in this amazing studio with you guys.
Well,
And it all culminates with meeting Larry.
It is
That's right.
right?
that's the height of anyone's
I gotta tell you what.
journey to the Masonic Light Podcast Studios.
Larry, he's our man.
Well, okay, so I think you guys had a vision of what we were going to be like because you guys saw us.
Uh-huh.
But, we had no idea what to we didn't know who we were looking for when we met you guys in the restaurant
You could
tonight.
listen to an episode.
Yeah, well, it's
But yet you were able to find us.
well, that's because I got a text from
Me.
Three
from-
fat
from
white guys
from
talking
Ja-
about masonry.
saying
That's all we got.
that hey, we're in the restaurant on the right, and so there you were.
That would me.
And so, honestly, I said to Eric, I said I wasn't sure what to expect, but that wasn't what I expected.
So what did you expect?
Nobody as cool as Larry.
Right.
Oh,
there you go.
Yeah, good build for that. That was a good build.
Nicely done.
That was a good build.
Yeah.
oh my
Nicely
goodness.
done. All right. We'll be right back.
In Masonic news today, disturbing reports from the Grand Lodge of Eastern South Texas outline a convoluted and confused episode of shenanigans of such magnitude that it has rocked the entire Masonic world. Grand Master Tony Soprano has made known that every third officer in the Grand Line will be made an odd fellow at sight and sent to re-education camps in Oklahoma. In other news, another St. John's Day has passed. Lodges and Grand Lodges around the Masonic fraternity are seating new masters and other officers. Remember, brother, that the real secret of Freemasonry resides in your heart, not in any edicts or bylaws. Honor your obligations and be the man you swore to be. That's the Masonic news. So mote it was.
Very good, Brother Walter. Thank you very much for that. And I know that a lot of folks, those of you in Pennsylvania, know that with our new Grand Master, there have been a lot of changes. And
I would argue that there are a few.
there are a few changes.
Most of what came out was just sort of squaring off loose ends and tidying up. A lot of stuff that we ought to be doing anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that, first of all, let's acknowledge Grand Masters can do what they do. They're Grand Masters. Oh, my God. And it's going to be okay, Larry.
Larry, just leave your dues card on the table.
Just lay it on the table. It'll all be good.
There goes my 50-year award.
That's right. 1 year short. 1 year short.
Oh,
Brilliant. Yes.
But, at the end of the day, this morning I posted something on our Facebook page, and it's gotten really good responses. And I think that this really should help guide us as we think about all of this. And the question was...
I think it should help guide us through Masonry throughout the United States and probably the world.
Absolutely. Yeah. The question was, do we need more men to join Freemasonry? Or do we need more men to be Freemasons? And obviously, I have an opinion on that.
Yeah. And the response has been phenomenal.
When you look at the responses to that, it says to me that people get it.
So we need to start living the life.
We need to start living what we profess.
So here's the thing. We have listeners that probably are not on Facebook.
Right.
Why don't you tell us how you feel about that?
Yeah.
Tim, give them the email address.
Send us a note to masoniclightpodcast@gmail.com, and we will add your comments to the long list that's already on Face Slam or Faceplant or whatever we call it.
And then for the next several shows, we'll read.
Yeah, let's read a few of them.
We'll read a few of them.
Yeah,
definitely.
I think they're really good. We won't necessarily attribute them unless you want us to, but I think that really is a conversation that all of us, no matter what jurisdiction you're in, really needs to begin to have.
Absolutely. This is the next element of the big turn.
You're right.
Right? Turning away from that global bowling league that we were in the 60s and 50s and 60s back towards where we ought to be, and that is in a philosophical fellowship, brotherhood.
You hear
sort of
it
an opportunity,
every meeting you go to.
Everyone.
You hear the opening and closing charges about how we come in and how we go out. And if we as Freemasons would simply live those charges.
Yep. Honor your obligation.
The rest of this stuff takes care of itself. It truly does. And, the rest of the stuff is just window dressing, quite frankly.
It is.
So that's that.
Preaching to the choir, brother.
Yep, absolutely. So, Jack, what do you got going on Masonically?
Oh, my word. I'm working with Brother Steve Shimp on the Masonic membership engagement
committee.
It's actually just a plug. If you, the first slide in the presentation is, why are you here?
Yep.
You're here because you know your lodge can be better, right? You know it needs to be better, and you want it to be better, right? And the second slide is, why are we here? We're here because we know you can be better, and we've got a plan that might help. So you can't just point at somebody and say, do that better. You have to say, hey, we might have a plan. If you follow it, yeah, it might be better. So that's what we're going to present around Pennsylvania, really all over the state. And if your lodge is interested in re-engaging membership that's been underutilized, engage in your community, those kinds of things, that we've got a template for that, and we can really. I'm not a big player in this kind of program, but this one seems to be formulated well enough that it's going to work for masters coming in looking for ways to just really put some meat back on the bone.
Great. Larry, other than food events, what have you got coming up Masonically?
Really, other than some of the Tall Cedars things I'm working on, no lodge meetings, no meetings whatsoever.
All right, cool. All right, Josh, you got anything other than trying to make this thing listenable?
No.
All right, good. Brother Eric, anything Masonically coming up in the next few weeks other than a stated meeting?
Just a stated meetings for me.
Keep it up, brother. How about you?
Stated meeting next week, and following week extra meeting for second degree, I believe.
Awesome. Excellent. Awesome. What nights do you meet?
Is it third Monday?
Third Monday.
Third Monday.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Might be fun.
Yeah, come on down.
I always like to visit different lodges, especially ones I've not been to yet. And that's an easy one to get to.
Yeah, just go to the river and get to the right side of it.
Exactly. Back up.
The correct side, yeah.
I live on that side, so it's good. All right. So for me, nothing a whole lot. I've got starting to begin secretary and treasurer trainings coming up. I've got districts 19 and 3 coming up. York Wright College First Capital meets on the 20th. And then we're going to be back in studio with a very special guest with something that should be exciting to every lodge, particularly in the state of Pennsylvania. We're going to have the illustrious brother, Representative Tom Mahaffey, who championed a bill.
Oh, everybody's hero you don't know about yet.
Yeah. So I'm going to leave you a little teaser. Do a Google search on House Bill 1300 in Pennsylvania, and we're going to be here to talk about that in 2 weeks. Awesome. So, Josh, open that gate and let the chickens out. Larry, get us out of here.
Special thanks to Effort Lodge number 665 for allowing us to continue to be here in spite of all the things we do. To Josh Lamberton,
After that last 5 minutes, they may revoke our permission.
To Josh Lamberton, our producer and director. Jack Harley, our news director. And Tim Dedman, our marketing director. And also to Michelle Snyder, Doug Maidenford, and Austin Schifrin, our Masonic Lite podcast contributors.
Do we have a director of directors?
No, we fired him 2 years ago. We didn't replace him yet, but I'll get one for you. Anyway, and to our listeners who always make doing this show worthwhile. This is Larry Merris, and thank you for listening. And remember, have fun and do good.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
All right.
What? Who is?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?